What is going on, guys? Sid here with another installment of Spooky Season Specials. And guys, I know we were in Crypt of the Necrodancer Amplified when we left off on the channel. But guys, for today's video, right, even though I didn't finish Crypt of the Necrodancer Amplified, right, that final boss battle on the conductor, that took place. And then I needed a break. I needed to take a step back from that game, right? So I was like, okay, you know what? I downloaded this Castlevania Anniversary Collection not too long ago, right? I purchased it, and it had all of the Castlevania classics. And guys, yeah, we're getting into the original 1987 Nintendo Entertainment System version of the hit series Castlevania. Guys, this series kind of really took off, and obviously we are fighting Dracula, and we're using someone from the Belmont family. Guys, so if you guys are new to this channel, I kind of briefly played Castlevania from the Castlevania I was introduced to Castlevania to, right? The version of Castlevania that I was introduced to, and that was on the Sega Genesis. Right, so I played Castlevania Bloodlines. That was like my first Castlevania game, and it was dumb hard. Apparently, it's the hardest in the series, right? One of the hardest, and that was my first one, right? And I was just like a child, and I like recently played it back like not too long ago, on the channel for you guys, right? And it's still dumb hard, as you can remember. And guys, it's deceiving, right? For any people that, you know, any human being that started off on the more recent consoles, there are not too many games that have that level of difficulty, right? These days, right? There's Dark Souls apparently, right? Like, I have not played it, so I wouldn't. I haven't played that game, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. A couple of the Ninja Gaiden games in the past, they were really dumb hard, right? But nothing really, like, in my repertoire of games, right, came close to the level of difficulty that Castlevania Bloodlines gave me, right, growing up, right? And even with the limitations of the console, right, yeah, it hindered your movement, and you had to really just time the animations down to a T to even, you know, get through a stage, right? But guys, since I was introduced, right, to the Castlevania series through Bloodlines, right, back when I was a kid, way back in the 90s, right, I figured let's take it a step back. Let's go into the NES version of the game, right? Of the original game, right? Yeah, and we're using one of the Belmonts, and yeah, we're gonna jump in to what you're seeing on the screen right now, which is stage 1 of the original Castlevania, right? So obviously they've resurrected Dracula, right? That's the start of the series. At the start of the series, they resurrected Dracula. There was like some type of dark ceremony that took place. I was like briefly reading, like skipping like the lore, like how the lore started. But yeah, Dracula died at the hands of like one of the Belmont clan, and yeah, there was a dark ceremony that took place. Put the blood over his remains, and bam, here we are in Castlevania, right? Yeah, so, actually, I'm gonna go on my phone really quickly because this is in post-processing, and we're going to, continue with the original Castlevania lore right now, right? So, as you're seeing, stage 1 take place, right? This, like, literally happened, like, 20 minutes ago, right? This is my first time playing the game, right? So, what I'm gonna do right now, right, the lore for the NES, right? So, yeah, so we're just gonna, yeah, so freaking cool. Konami's first game, man, 1987. So director was Hitoshi Akamatsu, right? The designers, composers, yeah, so the composition, right? It's really good counterpoint, always is, right? But only it's in bit form. Yeah, so, Devil's Castle Dracula, right? So that's the Japanese title of the game, right? So yeah, it's a blood feud between Simon's ancestor and the vampire Count Dracula. Yeah, it was Simon's calling to enter Dracula's castle and slay its landlord in order to stop him from drinking all of humanity's blood. Alright, so that's that's that right there, right? And it was released again on cartridge. Let me see. The original was released in 1980. It was like 87. It was made and released for the NES, and in North America and Europe, 1988. Okay, so 87 to 88, right? So yeah, guys, we're already in stage 2. I've given you some of the lore, right? So Christopher vanquished Dracula, Christopher Belmont, right? Then they revived him, right? At a black mass ceremony, and yeah, we're here with Simon. So yeah, I think the Netflix series features Simon too, right? My memory's hazy. Like, I watched it recently. I think there's a new season out, so I watched it recently, right? Not too recently, right? But I got up to like the first. I think I want to say like the first. I think I finished like the first 2 seasons, right? And like then like I got busy and I got caught up in life, you know. So there's only so many hours in the day to do all of the things that you want to do. And these days I'm really big on pruning. My Achilles tendon on my left hand, on my left foot, is finally like healed up. It's been like 4 months, right? Since I started like I had like resumed like martial arts levels activity, and you know, just you know, going back to the basics and going nothing too crazy, right? But it just so happened, you know, getting older, it really does suck, right? It really does suck, right? I'm no longer in my prime where my athleticism is concerned, right? Right now, it's just like, you know, just to be healthy, right? So what's not healthy, what was becoming unsustainably unhealthy for me, right? What was becoming unsustainable for me, right, in terms of health, was sitting down, playing too many hours of games, right? Too many hours. And producing, well, it was for producing content, right? But I did have to just, you know, change around the priorities, right? Just change around the order, just temporarily. Well, you know, just like rebalancing everything, right? So that's why you're not seeing as many videos on the channel, but it's still going to be coming out, right? And especially since it's spooky season, you guys have the whole spooky season specials playlist, and now you have an episode of the original Castlevania. That sounds so good to say, people. It sounds amazing to say, right? That we are still able to produce content, right? But yeah, did take a little step back for my health. I still am taking a step back for my health, for my health, right? And you know, it's for longevity's purposes, right? You want to be able to sustain that lifestyle where you're able to play the games, you're able to do as many things as you want to do, right? But you have to, you know, like, find what's the best balance for you, right? And, right now, I think I've struck a little bit of a better balance, right? So yeah, guys, we're already in stage, well, it's stage 5 technically, right? It's like they count every like panel, right, as a stage, right? So right now, all you're seeing is like I'm timing the Medusa heads, right? And if you guys are like since my reference point to the Castlevania series in terms of like gaming is Castlevania Bloodlines, this is highly similar, right? Highly similar, but it's much easier, is what I'm gonna say. Way easier, right? At least up to like this point, right? And it's literally any video game is just timing the animations, right? There's not gonna be too many, especially with the antique consoles, right? I'm gonna just say antique now, right? The nostalgia-esque consoles, right? Depending on wherever you started in your console journey, right? Your gaming journey, right? I think I mentioned on this channel, if you guys are new to the channel, I started with the Atari, actually, right? Because my father was an engineer when I was growing up, so we had the games, we had all of the consoles, right? At one point or another, and we, you know, like before I came to America, and then when I came up in the 90s, right? Like the early 90s, way early, right? Yeah, this was like, you know, this was easy. It was easy, good times, right? It was good times. We had the PC, right? We had a PC. We had the PC games, right? All the Quake games, the Doom games, right? It's pretty much, you know, like it's nostalgia. It's a nostalgia blast episode tied in with the spooky season specials episode, right? So we satisfy 2 categories today, right? And this is actually insanely easy. This, like, at least, like, we're up to stage 5, right? And stage 5 is, like, you know, like, and this is so cool. Like, I'm learning the game. The only thing that I had difficulty with, right? Because I just finished, like doing this, like this take, right? And, like, literally just turned it on, right? And the only thing that was giving me difficulty with, like, right at the start, was just learning the controls, right? And I think it was just using your weapon, right? And it's up and up and side, right? Depending on whichever side of the screen you're moving in, right? And the action button. That's it, right? And this like pocket watch is the best thing in the world, right? Because it just it freezes time. And it makes your life so much easier, right? Yeah, like the original Castlevania, it at least up to this point in in the game, right? It's actually pretty straightforward, right? It's not too much guesswork. It's just an adventure, right? And the one thing though is that what really seems to be irking me right now about this game, right? Is that the story is kind of like non-existent, kind of, right? Like, it's not too much dialogue, not too much you know, like you just like enter in and you just start, you know, side scrolling, and I don't know what to tell you about it. I don't know what to tell you about that, right? But it is a traditional NES game, so it really has that you know, that NES vibe to it, right? It has that Nintendo vibe to it, right? Any adventure game that you played on the NES, right? It pretty much follows the prototype to the T, right? Like the whole schema, the whole way of moving and attacking and everything, right? And it really does feel like a dumbed down version of Bloodlines, since Bloodlines is my reference point, right? In the Castlevania series, and I still haven't beaten that game. I hate it. I have not beaten the game. Plus, I'm like, you know, I'm lazy to beat the game, right? But yeah, guys, look, we're already at stage 6 for the boss battle. All you have to do is freeze time. But guys, this has been a fast video for spooky season specials, because we're introducing Castlevania into this series, right? Guys, peace, love, all the blessings to you and yours. Easy day. Cheers. Sid, out.